Hi guys, I am this week going to be working with Robin's May um, mystery box. So it came in this really super cute butterfly bag, and I have packaged the glitters and prepped the cup already on this, but there came this 20-ounce skinny and this piece of fabric. This lovely piece of fabric. It's got so many different colors in it and roses, and it's very nice. This will be my first ever project using fabric, so this will be an interesting experiment for us all. Crystal glitter glue, which I'm going to use instead of Mod Podge to apply my fabric, and some lovely, lovely glitters, which I put in. They came in a package, but I like in the packages, but I put them in shakers already. So we've got Mac Attack, which is this really nice fluorescent pink, and Screamin, which is a lovely fluorescent orange. That's So Jaime, which is a holographic black, and it's a chunky mix. And Mystic Mix, it's the purple one that came in the box that does not have a label on it, but Robin told me that's called Mystic Mix, so it's a lovely purple chunky. And Pixie Dust, so which is a nice little opal. So those are the things that are in here. So I'm going to now try and figure out how I'm going to do this. The cup I'm going to do a split tumbler with fabric on one half of it, and then I'm going to do stripes of all of these glitters, so I have everything that's in this bag on one cup. So that's my plan. Now to figure out the best way to execute that is what I need to do now. So I'm going to set this aside. I also have a Mod Podge brush. This is a Teflon brush. As far as I know, the Crystalac glitter glue is a lot like Mod Podge, so it's not going to be that much different. So what I'm going to do, this is a skinny straight, so I don't have to worry about top and bottom measurements being different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, on a piece of paper, here, let me see if we can do it this way. On a piece of paper over here, I'm going to draw a circle for a template, and cut that out. So that I can find the halfway mark. So I'm going to fold this in half. So this will give me my center. I put my cup over top of this. I can see where it folds in half, and then I can mark a line. I'm still lined up here. Mark a line and mark a line there. I'm going to draw this out so I can flip this over. And draw a line on here because we want to be able to tape it off. In as straight a line as possible. I'm going to use painter's tape for this. And so I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it on both sides. This is how I do my split cups without fabric, so I'm just hoping this same basic technique is going to work for me for this. I like to use the purple masking tape because it's a delicate surface, so it doesn't stick. Yeah, I didn't line that up very well. Okay, that looks... That's the hardest part always, is getting it straight. Okay, and on this one, so this, the mark is on the outside edge of the tape. I'm just going to ignore that one for now. And so we want it to be on the outside edge of the tape on this side. So this part will look narrower than this side, but it will be as straight as I can get it. And so all of my fabric will go on the outside part of it, and so it will be half by the time all is said and done. My most important mark is my bottom one, because that one I know I put in the right spot. Again, this is the very first time I've worked on a fabric tumbler, so I don't know how other people do this, but this is just what's going to make sense to me. So I've got this taped off now. So from here to here is all going to be fabric, and then from here to here is going to be stripes of glitter. So, and I've got a combination of extra fines and chunky mixes, so, and dark and light colors. So this is going to look really cool because this fabric is got all of those colors in it. So that's going to be awesome. So now I need to figure out how to apply this. I'll get my fabric scissors out. Jaime does this with cutting with electrical tape. I think I may put some on here just to keep it from stretching as I'm cutting it. And I think I'm going to want to make it a little overlapped as I'm applying it. But I don't want to work with this big of a piece of fabric, so I'm going to line this up on the straight edge here and bring this around to this side. And maybe I'll add electrical tape down on here. Just to give me a cutting guide. I'm going to end up cutting it again, but I just want to make sure I'm not going to have an issue with not having enough fabric to cover. Okay, you didn't see me do that because I'm way off camera here. So I've put a piece of electrical tape on, I've lined it up with this edge here, like this. I don't know how Jaime does this. This is why I've never made a fabric tumbler before. I just can't figure out how to work all of the moving parts. Even though I do know how to work with fabric, I just don't know how to work with it in this context. So this is a little outside of my comfort zone, but we'll just wing it from here and see how this is going to turn out here. So that's there, that's, I think we're kind of straight. So now I'm going to cut this on the outside edge of this tape. And by doing a split tumbler, we have a whole nother piece to use for something else. Okay, so now I'm going to just start, and you have to have your cup prepped white for these, because that's not the way that goes. It goes this way. So that there's nothing dark shows through the fabric when you're all done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this glue. I've never used this before, but we'll see how this is going to work. So I'm just going to squeeze out, maybe I'm going to squeeze out a line. Maybe I'm not. Okay. Maybe shaking it will help a little bit. Alrighty, we're going to get a bowl. I have a little silicone bowl here I'm going to use. It's not that thick, so I don't know why. Oh, because there's a cover in there. Well, well, well. Odd that it would be in this lid instead of against the top of the bottle. Just set that aside for now. Alright, so I'm just going to dip my brush into this glue and just brush it down the center. And I got glue all over my fingers. I'm going to get this on as straight as I can here. I'm going to line it up with this tape. It is a very pretty fabric. Okay, I'm going to peel this back a little bit. And brush this off out here and there. Okay. Well, it's stuck down pretty good already. Smooth it on. Well, wasn't that just slick and easy? I'm just gonna press this down and wait a minute. All right, so now we're going to take this tape back, and I'm gonna I think I've got that on the edge there. And this is just the way I see Jaime do things. I have no clue that this is right or this is wrong. Okay, she peels things back up again. And takes fabric scissors and cuts along the tape line. We're learning how to do this together. Don't need this to be totally, I don't think, 100% straight on, because any little bobbles are going to be fixed or covered up when we add the vinyl at the end to cover the stripes. So far, I'm not hating this. It's not quite as bad as I was thinking it was going to be. So let's try and line this tape on this side. So I'm just folding it over, so I'm folding the tape. I can feel where the tape edge is here, so I'm just folding it over so I'm making sure that my line is good here. I'm going to press that down and then pull up the fabric a little bit. It's going to be glued back down again. If you want a proper video of how to apply fabric to a tumbler, go to Fabric Tumblers Canada and watch any one of Jaime's tutorials. She knows how to kick these. All right. So now I'm going to peel this tape off. I don't need that anymore. And I don't want it to get glued down. I have those spots where it lifted up a little bit, so I'm going to put more glue in those spots. And smooth this all out. And get glue all over my hands, because that's just the way I roll. And same with on this side. Just really get it in there so the whole thing is adhered. Well, it is a lot quicker than putting vinyl on, I'll tell you that. Okay, and so now I'm going to let that sit for a minute to attach itself. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut just the excess off the top and the bottom. Take the rest of it off with a rim jobber after it's all dried, but right now we're going to do this. And just get rid of any extra that we have sitting there. So for my stripes, I'm going to do the pixie dust on the top. So I'll have a white stripe coming across here, and that's so Jaime on the bottom. So the whole bottom will be black when all this said and done. All right, so now we're going to take this glue, this glitter glue, and we're going to brush it over the top of the fabric. And just make sure it's well saturated. And we're going to do this, I don't know how many layers that glitter glue is going to take, but I'm going to do it as if I'm doing the Mod Podge. So Jaime does 4 or 5 layers, I think, of Mod Podge over these. So I will do the same with this glitter glue. So for now, I'm going to let this sit for an hour, and I'm going to come back and do another coat, and then I'll come on and we can explore the rim job together. But this went on incredibly much more easily than I thought it would. So that's a good thing. Like, it's easier than the vinyl, because vinyl is kind of tricky with sticking it down, because it bubbles and you don't want it to do that, and you can get it uneven, and then you have to rip it up, and then you have to tear it back down, and then it's I enjoy doing it, but it's a little bit more work than this was. So I'll come back after I put another coat of the glue on, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, I have let this dry overnight, and I've applied another coat of the glue onto it. It's actually feeling like it's stuck right on here, so I'm not exactly sure that this is going to work. This is what some in the Canadian groups call the rim jobber. It's from Wicked Shimmer Supply, and it's the cup edging tool is what it's actually called. So if you want to order one of these, it comes out of the US. Sometimes Jaime can get her hands on these from Fabric Tumblers Canada, which is where this fabric also came from. So what we're going to do is I've got 3 washers on each side, thinking that's going to be a good spot, and you press the fabric up against this blade, which is really super sharp. Now if I was doing a full wrap, I'd take this all the way around, but I'm not. This just gives you a nice clean consistent line. There we go, it's going to peel off nicely. I should have just gone once around the block. Don't know why it doesn't want to cut that one spot very well. You have to apply a bit of pressure to get this to go. I'll just cut those stragglers off with my scissors. This part's going to be covered by glitter, so it's not a big deal. And I'm going to do the same on the top. I'm just going to press it up against this blade and rotate it around. And then just peel off the edge. So now I have rims to use. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put another layer of, actually I'll put another 2 layers. I don't know how to tell when I'm done. I know that the Mod Podge, I think, is 5 layers before it'll penetrate, but or the epoxy won't penetrate. I'm not sure about with this glitter glue, because this is my first fabric tumbler, so I have absolutely no clue what I'm doing here. So I am going to put another 2 or 3 coats of the glitter glue on here, and then we will move on to the glitter phase. Okay, so I have put a total of 5 coats of the glitter glue over this fabric. I don't think it's budging anywhere, and it does not feel like the epoxy is going to seep through, so I love this fabric. It is so pretty. The longer I'm looking at it, the more I like it. So now it's time to figure out our stripes for this side. So what you need to do even stripes is measure. So this one is 8 inches long, and so if I divide that by the 5 colors of glitter that I have, it works out to each stripe is going to be 1.6 inches wide. Okay, so what I have decided is the chunky is going to go on the bottom and on the top instead of having a chunky, a fine, a chunky, and then two extra fines on here. So I'm going to order it something like this. I'm going to do the black, the orange, the pixie dust, the pink, and then the purple on the top. So that's what I've just decided. So I'm going to do this in a couple of stages. So the first stage, I'm going to do the top and the middle and the bottom. And just to make it easier to tape things off here. So I'm going to take my measuring tape and I'm going to measure down 1.6 inches on this one. And then measure down 1.6 inches on this side. And I'm going to take my painter's tape be easier if this was the same size as I need my space to be, but it's not, so just get it as straight as possible here. In the right place. Okay, so my top is ready here, and so I'll measure from this line at the top here down 1.6 inches. And again from the top of the tape down 1.6 inches. And so I'm going to put this now on the inside so that the middle 1.6 inch line here is covered completely, and that's going to be my pink color. So I'm totally masking off this line. This line's going to be purple, this line's going to be pink, and then I'm going to measure, because this bottom part is where my 1.6 inches was. So I'm going to measure down from the bottom of this line. Just lock that in place, make it easier. 1.6 inches. And again. All right, now we'll measure up from the bottom, the same measurement. and do it on the inside because I want to take that off evenly. So the bottom I'm going to do in black. This part I'm going to do in white, and I'm going to just do a quick paint over of that because the white's going to show that whatever that mark was, and then this part's going to be purple. Well, I have this glitter glue because I have to paint each one of these because the chunky glitter over top of the white base is going to require a couple of coats. So I'm going to paint this black, this purple, and this white. And one of the neat tricks with acrylic paint, and I'm going to start with, I'm just going to do paint my white in here. Brush. With acrylics, you should probably always start with a wet brush. Is you can use acrylic paint like glue for your glitter. It will stick. So I'm going to just throw this on here. Get a nice even coat. Try and get it as smooth as possible. You don't want to like paint your whole cup and try and glitter it because it will dry in between times. But this is a good way to get, it's easier if you have a base coat of spray paint, but to get color on your cup underneath your glitter and still glitter and don't have to have the extra step of gluing. So now I can just glitter this with my pixie dust. And it's all glittered and sparkly. So that's a time-saving little cheat for you. I've not tried it with chunky yet, but we're about to, so hang on to your horses. I just need to put this away. I don't like cross-contaminating my glitter. Okay, so I'm going to go now with the top. I guess I should rinse this out first. I didn't have purple paint, so I mixed up some red and some blue and a little bit of black to darken it a bit. So we're just going to fill it in. And fill in this crack on the top here. Can even paint over the line a little bit like I just did. I'm planning on putting vinyl along there anyway, unless I can get it to look kind of cool, but too much, too much, too much. Okay. So I'm going to grab my purple glitter, which is Mystic Mix. Even it out a little bit, but it sticks. It's just awesome. Brush anything loose off after it all dries and seal it with some spray paint. That part didn't stick quite well enough, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more. Look at how pretty sparkly that purple is. So pretty with the pinks and the purples and the blues. It's just gorgeous, this purple. All right, so we're going to now rinse our brush. I really like this color. Paint happening everywhere. All right, on to the black part, which is going to be the most part because I've got the bottom to do as well. But you can see how well this is all working out here. So I'm going to do this because I don't want it to dry on me in the middle. I'm going to do this in a couple of stages, this one. I'm going to do around the rim and on the bottom. And then I'll do the stripe. Okay, now that's so Jaime. It's a pretty holographic black. So sparkly. And now we'll do this part. And just make sure you get into your corner so you have a sharp corner when you take your tape off. I find this much easier when doing something like this than trying to tape it and saran wrap it and spray paint it. As long as you have a spray painted base, you should be fine to do this and just keep it as even as you possibly can. All right, we're just going to let this, we're going to peel tape first, and then we're going to let this dry and see what happens with it when we do our pinks and our oranges. So far, I'm really loving this cup. I'm really interested to see what everybody else has done with this mystery box. All right. So peel my tape off. And before I put the other two colors on after this is dry, I will spray paint this a couple of times with a clear spray paint just to keep everything all sealed in, and it'll allow me to tape off my blank areas or my glittered areas so that I can do the same kind of thing with my other glitters. But there we have this step, and look at all the pretty sparkles. It's coming together because these colors are all beautifully in this lovely fabric. So let it dry, spray paint it really good, probably a couple of coats with a clear spray paint, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to tape off the lines for these sections so I can paint these sections and get them. Looks like this section's a little bigger than the other two. I don't know how I mismeasured, but it's still going to look good. So and then we'll get those two sections on and clear spray paint them, and then we can start to epoxy. So it's a lot of steps in this cup, but it's going to look fabulous when it is all done. Hey guys, I am now on to the last of my glitter. I've spray painted this twice with matte clear spray paint. I should have done the gloss, but the nozzle kept jamming on me, so I couldn't. So now I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. I'm going to paint this one and this one and put the orange and the pink on. I think I'll do the pink on the top and the orange on the bottom. So I'm just gonna, it's just cheap acrylic paint that's in here. If I wanted to, I could, I want to tape that first. I could tape and saran wrap everything and then spray paint, but that just seemed like a lot of work to me and whatnot, so I figured that this would be the safer way to go. So I'm just going to tape along the line here just to keep it nice and clean still. Or maybe I'm not. Sometimes I just can't decide. I'll just be careful. And once I do this, if there's any spots I need to go in and touch up, I can certainly do that with the glitter glue. It's just always best to apply your glitter over the same color so it fills in any gaps that you may have been able to see otherwise with putting it over a white base. This doesn't want to cover quite as evenly as the other. Remember, you're going to be covering all of your edges over, so if you get a little bit of bubbles right on the edges, that's okay, because you're going to be putting vinyl over top of that in the long run anyway. So I'm going to just even it out. Grab my pink glitter, which apparently I should have opened before. So this is a fluorescent pink, and it's an extra fine iridescent. Look at that color. That is an amazing color. So that's a very bright pink. It's gorgeous. I love it. Put these back in the container. And then we can do our orange. Just boggles my mind that this paint is a good way to adhere glitter to a surface. So now this spot where I messed up my measurement somehow is going to be orange. And it'll pick up the oranges that are in this beautiful fabric. Make sure you get into the corners. And Screamin' Liam. So there we have all of our stripes. We have the chunkies on each end in the darker colors, and then we have pink. That's so Jaime, Screamin' Liam, Pixie Dust, Mac Attack, and Mystic Mix are these glitter colors, and they go perfectly with this fabric because we've got the purple and we've got the oranges and we've got pinky colors and we've got the blacks. So now I'm going to let these two sections dry, and then I'm going to spray it again with clear spray paint, and I'm going to epoxy 2 coats before I put the vinyl on. So I will come back when it's time for vinyl. Okay, we're back. We're hitting the home stretch. I have put 2 coats of epoxy on this, and I've sanded it. I got a little overzealous with my Dremel, so I have a couple places that I need to fix, but I'll worry about that after. So now we need to add the vinyl striping to tie this all together. So I'm using this Opal, which is lovely, and I got it from Robin's new premium vinyl collection. So I have cut strips. I've cut 4 strips at 0.15 wide by 4.5 or long, because this is just shy of 4.5 inches across. And then I've cut 2 that are 0.15 wide and a little over 8. This is 8 inches, so 8.5 inches long. So I'm going to apply my crosswise stripes first, and then I'm going to do my lengthwise stripes, and I need to figure out what to put on this besides the stripes. I also added, because I wanted this to sparkle just a little bit, I don't know if the camera picks up the shimmer, but I added a little bit of eco glitter that I got from somewhere else, just a white, to just tie it all together so it looks really pretty and shimmery in the light. If you can't see that, it is there. So I've got my stripes cut on here, so I'm just going to start one of them instead of going through the trouble of cutting them all apart. I'll just keep them all attached for now. I'm going to start one of them, and I'm going to start at the edge and just roll it off and just keep it as straight as I can. And we're gonna cut all of that all even once we get there. You just want it a little bit bigger just to make sure that it's going to cover properly, and smooth it out. Take that down just a titch. Had a little bit of an oops right there, so I need to make sure I cover that up. This is too short to do that with. You can play around a little bit just to get it exactly where you want it to be, because you want any bubbles like that that happen with your process need to be covered up. That's kind of one of the whole points of doing this way. And just make sure you have even tension on your vinyl to keep it nice and straight. There, see, you'd never know that's there, and it covers all the way along. These shorter ones, it's easier just to pull it off, I guess. Alrighty, it's amazing once you add these stripes on how much better it looks. So that's my sideways ones. So it just kind of makes it all make a little bit more sense to have the striping on there. I'm going to take my X-Acto knife here, and I'm just going to cut it even with the line. And maybe I can get it off of there. A little bit of an overlap is okay, but you don't want to leave gaps for the epoxy to pull into either. Okay. Always, always, always remember to cover your blade. Now we're going to go lengthwise. I'm going to cut this because this glitter comes around here. I'm going to cut this level with the fabric. And same with on this side. I'm going to cut it level with the fabric because the glitter continues on. And any scratches that you make in your epoxy doing this will fill in. It's just tying it all together. And again, I'm going to cut this level with this. And level with this. Try and get the sticky vinyl off my fingers so that makes it make a lot more sense to have the striping on there. That just divides everything up and makes everything all nice and pretty and even. So I'm going to make a decision on what I'm going to do about a decal. I love that fabric, and this actually was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. I have a couple of pieces of fabric that I've had before, and they're just sitting waiting for me to do something with them because I'm like, I don't know how to do this. So now I know how to put it on, so it's gonna, I can use them now, so that's great. So this was a challenge, but I'm going to keep going with this and put a decal on here. I don't know quite what yet, but I will post a picture when I get it all done, and I'm going to put a couple more coats of epoxy on here and see if I can get somebody to buy it. So anyway, this is how you do a fabric split tumbler, and it's not, don't let fabric intimidate you. It is a lot more easy than you think. If you start with a split tumbler, I don't know about going all the way around and getting it all done that way, but I'm sure it's not that much harder than what I just did here, and it's a lot easier to apply than doing a vinyl wrap, which is how I typically do these kinds of cups. So it's easier and it's better, and you can get so many really cool fabrics. Jaime at Fabric Tumblers Canada has an amazing selection and a number of buy-ins. You have to wait a while for your fabric, but she has so many unique patterns and whatnot that I'm waiting on 4 of them right now, and I just can't wait to get them because I have specific cup plans for them. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now, and I will post pictures of this when I figure out what I'm going to do to finish it off. And I know that this was a long and complicated video, and I hope it helps. Have a great day.